Good morning. I want to start the show today with a quote from former president of Haiti, Jacques Duvalier, who was forced into exile in 1986 after he and his father served Haiti for 29 years in what many believe to be one of the most brutal regimes in the history of the country. When he returned in January 2011, after being forced into exile in France for over 2 decades, after he was deposed and went into exile, he came back to find things to be in such a bad shape that he had to ask the question, what have you done to my country? The same question was asked again by another leader called Guy Philippe, and imprisoned for 6.5 years after he was elected to be senator of the Republic by people in the Grand Anse region. When he came back in November 2023, he asked the same question, what have you done to my country? He decided to do something about it. Now, what is Guy Philippe? That's the question you may be asking. Let me give you a small overview of who the guy is, where he came from, and how he happens to be the one today pushing the people to wake up, to do something about how the people, the country is going today. Guy grew up in politics because he grew up finding his father to be being the mayor of the Pastel city in the Grand Anse region of Haiti. After he graduated high school, he too, following the footsteps of his older brothers, was sent to Mexico to study medicine. However, after a year into medical school, he left without the knowledge of his father. He left to go to Ecuador, to a military school instead. And that's where he learned about a lot of great leaders, learned doctrines, and he became a very good military man. Now, when he returned to Haiti, to his surprise, President Jean-Bertrand Aristide disbanded the army and transformed the security of the whole country under the leadership of a national police. Guy was not happy because he saw himself as coming to the army to go up the ranks and transform the army into one of the top in the whole region. But Aristide, fearing that the army could be a threat to the government, as they did before, he disbanded the army. So Guy found himself having to settle with entering the national police. That's how he became responsible in charge of several police precincts in different parts of the country. In 2004, his revolution against the Aristide regime was violent in nature. But his idea of revolution today is more pacific, is more peaceful, where they would demonstrate and raise awareness of the situation in the country, raise awareness of how the international community is still standing firm behind the government of Ariel Henry, regardless of how the people are dying. Right now, the situation is very dire in Haiti. No one is safe. No one, including those leaders that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to arm the gangs to protect them and to be uh, all over the place, pushing the people out of their homes, pushing the people out of their areas, forcing them to be on the streets from one area to another, not knowing where to go, what to do. So Guy Philippe already does something that is very satisfactory by encouraging people to start the fight for a change. Now, there are many people that are saying that Guy Philippe is a drug dealer, Guy Philippe is this, Guy Philippe is that. I don't see it like that. Why? It's because the situation of the country right now, the way the people are sleeping on the streets, sleeping in the parks, sleeping in public places, with their children being violated, they're being raped, and there's nobody, no kids can go to school. Children has very special interest in schooling because that's where they meet their friends, that's where they play, that's where they can be kids. Now, if they are not able to go to school and they are being chased out of their homes, out of their area to find themselves sleeping in public places with only the clothes that is on their back, because the same people have been in politics for over 30, 40 years, and they've enriched themselves, and they have homes all over the world, in Jamaica, in France, in Canada, in the United States, and most of them have homes and businesses in Dominican Republic. They don't care. No, their family, their children, their wives, they are not in Haiti. Those guys, they don't even need to fight for the country to have schools that are operated and with a good system in it, because the children are being educated outside. They don't need the country to have hospitals because their passport is always in the pocket. If they don't feel good in the middle of the night, they get up in the morning, wake up in the morning, and take a plane to come to Miami or go to New York, see the doctor, and then fly back the next day. Those guys don't need security because they can pay for 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the police. That is already too little to secure 12 million people. The 8,000 active members of the police, most of them are hired by politicians to do private jobs. So therefore, they don't need security. They don't need to be protected themselves, thereby leaving the whole population on their own, running all over the place. Imagine the capital city is under siege, and by a United Nations report, 80% of the capital is covered, is in control of organized gangs. So the only 20% left for you to move around in a radius of about 5 miles. All these other sections that go to different parts of the country, the north, the center, and south, they each have a very, very powerful uh, gang uh, with powerful guns that even the national police doesn't have. So that's the situation in the country right now. And Ariel Ali, unfortunately, is not under his own control. He's being controlled by the international community, the core group, which is governed by the three powerful nations of the United States, Canada, and France. And they are the ones that say that Ariel is not going anywhere until they put in place a fake election whereby they can put in government someone that they can use to do the dirty laundry in the Caribbean nation. So Guy Philippe is the figure right now that all the people look upon to save them from their misery. He is the figure that everybody is hoping to do something, to help them do something that can solve the problem. Unfortunately, there are a lot of news members, like journalists, influencers that have YouTube channels and everywhere. Yeah, quite a bit of them seem to be criticizing Guy Philippe to try to kill the movement, trying to get the people to let go of the idea of revolution that Mr. Philippe, Senator Guy Philippe, is pointing. So it's a very difficult situation, and Guy Philippe's still asking the people to organize and let's do something because we cannot accept this as it is. And it's the hope that the people were looking for. It's the leader they were looking for. Now, many people seem to have a problem with Guy Philippe not acting fast enough, not doing enough. Well, listen, the guy's been out for 6.5 years. He just came back in November. He hasn't even been able to see his family and his children. And yet he already embarks in a fight and a revolution to get the people to wake up and start fighting for the rights, start fighting to be recognized as humans. Wow. It's a lot of things that he still doesn't have. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have the military might. He doesn't have. Yes, there is the group, the legal group called BESAP, which was created by decree by former President Jovenel Moise. That is 100% behind him. But he is being very careful because if anybody dies while he is pushing it, they gonna blame him as a terrorist and saying that he did this, he did that. So he's being careful, and the uh, hundreds of armed gangs, the government of Ariel Henry has on the streets to watch his every move to kill him. So he's got to be careful. So I do understand he's taking the time to to work on strategies, to deliver something that is meaningful while at the same time protect himself. So that's how myself I consider his actions. I consider his slow move. Many people are very impatient because they've been suffering for so long, but he also has to protect himself to try to avoid being killed. The other day, they stationed a plot to kill him. In that plot, he was supposed to be at the site. He was just 5 minutes behind the group of BESAP that they opened fire on. Police in uniform opened fire on that truck that carried those BESAP members. They were on their way to participate in a movement, demonstration movement on February 7th. And they opened fire on them thinking that he was there and killed five BESAP members. Five BESAP members fully armed, but that were not aware that something like that would happen. And they didn't even respond and died cowardly by armed people in police uniforms and arrested many others and took control of the car or of the truck they were driving, and everyone is inflamed. Everyone is mad at that, because of that. But still, the international community, the U.S. mainly, still stand firm behind Ariel Henry, saying that a transitional government will not replace another transitional government. Though that they didn't know that Ariel is not a transitional government. Ariel Henry was nominated shortly after, before the president was assassinated. So therefore, he's just continuing uh, uh, on the government of Juvenal, which was to prepare for elections 90 days after he took office. And he's already holding office for almost 31 months. Nothing is being done, and all he does is to provide more guns to those gangs to kill whoever is asking him to be out of power. So, how is that going to be solved? Nobody knows, because we're talking about powerful forces beyond everybody's control. So we just have to wait. Many people don't like Guy Philippe's idea of revolution because they claim that he is a drug dealer, he is a convicted, and there are many people of the Lavalas party, which is the party of former President Jean-Bertrand Aristide, that will never forgive Guy Philippe for overthrowing their charismatic leader in 2004. However, this is 2024. The situation is very bad for the people, and gangs are all over the place. Every corner of the country has a gang. And the people need a leader. The people need a savior, or someone that can show them or encourage them to take action. Now, if the idea of Guy Philippe is not good for you, I understand that. But what do you have to offer? Because just sitting behind the mic and talk, and criticizing the actual government will not do anything. As a matter of fact, he has shown time and again that even demonstrating on the streets will not change anything, let alone sitting behind the microphone. That will not change anything. So therefore, Guy Philippe is doing something very positive. What it does is encouraging the people to fight and ask for a change. And quite frankly, even Guy Philippe was to disappear in the whole image, even if he was to disappear altogether, what he puts in the mind of hundreds of thousands of people in every corner of the country will not stop, and nobody can get those people to stay home until they get the change they want, the change that they need to be living a life worthy of its existence. So therefore, whether you like the guy or not, for whatever reason, the change is burning, the change is encouraging the people to fight for, will be good for all of us, will be good for the country, because there's of people in the diaspora that are going elsewhere on vacation, spending thousands of dollars that could be, and that's why they have a problem, and there are many of them that spend hundreds of $1,000s to buy homes or build beautiful homes that are currently overtaken by gangs, and they lose everything. There are people that were preparing for their retirement that are suffering and just don't know what to do. So therefore, whatever that will help them get some kind of relief by bringing some kind of idea of revolution, and that will eventually happen and get the international community to their senses to let go area and let the country be led by someone that cares for the people, someone that can actually change the country for the better, someone that can bring some hope to the young kids that are thinking of taking guns rather than using a pen to go to school. That's what we're talking about. That's the kind of change that many feel Philippe is bringing, and that's the reason also why I don't see his presence in the political arena as a problem. So please, let's work together and support his movement because the people need something that they can grab, something they can hold, someone that they can look upon, someone they can call as a leader. And Guy Philippe is doing just that. I encourage him to take the next step in the and leading the way for the real revolution to take place. Because one thing the international cannot do, they can force Ariel to stay in power. They can force the people to swallow that bitter pill that Ariel and his government, including Marjorie Michel and Andre Mikasi and these other guys that were on the street to demonstrate against President Jovenel Moise and now are enjoying the government. The USA and these international members can force those people, can force the government of Ariel to stay in power, but you cannot force the people to accept the election that you're appointing. You cannot force them to go and vote for the leader that you want to put in to do your dirty job. So go ahead, hold on to him as long as you want. That's not going to force the people to swallow that election. So I encourage Guy Philippe to continue the movement. The people really need it, and the country need it. Now, the government of Ariel puts a lot of energy to arrest and kill all the leaders that are working on the streets, on the side of the people to ask for a change. Now, if only they had put a fraction of the energy they put to arrest or even kill those leaders, they would solve the problem of gangs. So that goes to show that the gangs are financed and put in place by the government to protect its interests. And whatever election idea they come to the table, those gangs will be there to force the people to vote for whomever they want. And it doesn't take a genius to see that. Now, having leaders arrested for demonstrating to ask for change is against the Constitution, and it is against even all international laws. And yet, it's okay. It's okay for those that put him in place to secure their interests. How far can that go? No one knows. Everyone is watching, but no one is saying anything. It's difficult, and it has to stop. That was your friend Maxime Jean-Louis to bring you an idea on how the situation is in Haiti. And we thank you for taking the time to listen to the video. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for telling a friend, because all that we need to do is to make sure that the English-speaking community is aware of what's currently going on in Haiti. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.